Happy New Year. It is 2022 and I just have a feeling that if you put your intentions in the right place, you are going to achieve everything you've ever wanted this year. I think the best part about being a spiritually aligned person is that you're constantly being guided, supported, and always cheered on in terms of your growth and where you want to go in life. And today I want to talk about the goals I am setting up for myself this 2022, and I hope that me mentioning my goals will help you get some ideas of where you want to go in terms of your spiritual journey. I feel like everyone's is so different and everyone has a different medium that they relate to, but it's also really nice to branch out and explore different niches of spirituality. So I wanted this video to be just like an open discussion, a open-minded / open perspective video, and hopefully some things that I mention will inspire you to take on new little practices or rituals, or even just some mindset habits that will help you become a better version of you. To start off, I got this notebook. I got this from Target. You can get any type of notebook that you have, but I personally wanted to get a notebook like this that was a little bigger, where I can just like spread out my ideas and my writing, just because I want to have that space. I usually do bullet journal, but I just feel like the pages and the size that this is compared to this one, it's just too small for me, and I like exploring different approaches when it comes to my journaling. So it seems like me using this as like an overall like brain dump / planning, not really caring about what it looks like, would be very beneficial for me. So in the last 2 hours, I've been watching a lot of how to properly plan and execute your ideas and goals in 2022, and a lot of the things I incorporated into this journaling session are from those videos. So I'm going to link those videos down below. A lot of the videos I usually watch are from self-growth content creators, whether it comes to creativity or spirituality. So if you want a little more tools to help you on with your journey, I'll link them down below. So to start off, here is my first page. As you can see, I just put spirituality, and on the top part I put down the different niches that spirituality comes with. So I put down things such as astrology, meditation, crystals, the lunar cycle, chakras, femininity / goddess energy, Reiki healing, intuition, breath work, tarot reading, and subliminals. So those are just the handful of things that I thought about. Hello.
I love you more. There was something else I wanted to say, but your makeup looks so good. I just want to focus on that for a second. Nice under eye blush. You got that red lipstick as you always do. Glistening. Can you close your eyes? I want to see the wings. Let me see the 3 wings. Let me see the 3-point wings. Yeah. Oh wait, that's your left? Sorry, my left. So right.
You know,
the queen of symmetry. Okay, the queen of symmetry. I see you. I'm ready to watch. See you later tonight.
See you later.
Bye.
So I wanted to make a list of all the different niches in just the spirituality umbrella in total, and I basically chose the ones I wanted to focus on the most this year. I didn't want to do all of them. It was just more of like me brain dumping it on paper and just like seeing and visualizing everything. And so the first one I wrote about is crystals. I made sure to think of some questions that will really dig deep into the why and how I'm going to execute these things, because if I don't have like a solid why or like a foundation as to why I want to learn about certain things, it's gonna be really hard for me to find that motivation. So the first thing I asked for the topic of crystals is, why do I want to learn? I wrote down, I want to appreciate the history, use it as an aid in my meditation. So if I'm going to sit down at nighttime and I want to focus on energy and cultivating protection when I go traveling, I can do that. And depending on what stone will help me, I will use it as like something I can hold against my skin or just like carry with me on a day-to-day basis. I want to use crystals in my rituals and practices, so that also includes the lunar cycle. I want to be able to learn how to cleanse my crystals. These rituals and practices that I plan to execute will help me focus my energy on what I want to learn in a certain phase of my life, or if I want to have, or if I want to achieve certain characteristics to help me reach like a higher level of myself. And I want to just develop a good relationship with Mother Earth's gems. I feel like crystals are here for a reason. They're not just here to be pretty, they actually have some type of use. I had this type of stigma / stereotype towards it a while back, but now that I'm exposing myself more to the knowledge and information that's out there, I'm very open-minded, and I feel like I just have to educate myself a lot. In correlation to that, I wrote down how am I gonna learn, and I wrote down books, YouTubers, and to watch the history of each stone and crystal. I recently read and watched a video about jade and how jade is really valuable in China, and that was super interesting. So I would love to look into more documentary type videos about how crystals have their significance in certain eras and certain cultures. Yeah, I just want to take the time to learn one crystal at a time. So for example, if I am going to use like a rose quartz to cultivate love and affection and passion in my relationship, I am going to take the time to learn everything about that crystal, whether its properties, its colors, the certain shapes and sizes, which is the best, and just to like really educate myself, because I feel like that's where all the wisdom is going to grow and flourish in the long term. Another question I incorporated while reflecting on how I want to achieve this goal is how I want to feel. And I wrote down, I want to feel aligned, peace, and self-love. These values and these goals can change over the year, but I really wanted to aim at the emotion I'm going to feel when I learn and when I go through the process of learning about crystals. This correlates with manifesting, because if you are trying to manifest a certain thing or a certain lifestyle or a certain experience, the best thing you can do is to feel what you're gonna feel when you have that, or as if you already have it. Feeling creates that frequency and that signal for the universe to bring that manifestation to you. And so I wrote that down because I thought that was really important. And some other goals I wrote down is that I want to learn deeply at least 2 to 3 crystals by the end of 2022. I want to have like top tier knowledge about at least 1 to 3 crystals. I think this is a really small but very quality type of goal that I'm setting up for myself. Some other things is to write down the experiences and reflect back on the nature of the crystal. So if I use the crystal to help me with my confidence, I want to reflect back and see how my intentions of using that crystal reflected back to me in my day-to-day life. Whether it's carrying it around at work, carrying it around at certain events or gatherings, I want to reflect back on it and journal and just see the progress and probably the manifestations that come with it. So I want to do that, and then yeah, I just want to use crystals as a medium for growth and just appreciate it at its fullest. I don't really see myself being super crazy about it. Who's to say I will? But I do want to keep an open heart entering this little niche. The next thing I reflected on is astrology. So I have been around one of my cousins who has been always into astrology, but I feel like for me personally, it never clicked with me. I kind of went the logical approach and thought that each zodiac is probably just a coincidence, and I feel like a lot of horoscopes were just like coincidences, or you're just gonna find things that you think are great, so therefore you resonate with it. So I kind of had that misconception, but over time when I started watching tarot readings and I started watching people talk on TikTok about astrology and retrogrades, I wanted to like understand more about zodiacs and also the planets and how those things affect each other. I just want to learn astrology at the most basic level. So one of my main goals for astrology is to just figure out my birth chart, understand what planets were aligned during the time and the date and the year. I want to know everything about myself before I can expand out and further my intelligence about this. So I need to know what time I was born because your girl doesn't know, and my own mother does not know either. So I need to figure that out, and I just want to know what it means to be a Sagittarius. I want to know the qualities that people associate that with. I feel like Sagittarius people out there are barely talked about when it comes to just zodiacs in general because they are so, I guess, like under the radar. I know there are other personalities out there who kind of wear their Gemini heart on their sleeves, but for Sagittariuses, we're kind of like a little more to ourselves. But I feel like we bloom in our solitude, and our thoughts to ourselves can be really destructive, and it's really hard for us to engage with other people who may manipulate that. So, I mean, there's just a little something that I know, but that's just me coming from my own experience and from friends that I know that are Sagittariuses. But yeah, so let's go into the why do I want to learn. I wrote down to eventually understand how the planets affect me and the earth. I love it when people post online about how the retrogrades or the certain planets that are coming in are going to affect the world, whether it's forcing rest or forcing change into the world and society and our government. So I want to know about that and just kind of like keep a keen eye and observation of how that really works, you know? And another thing I want to learn is to discover things about myself I never knew or never realized. So I really hope this will bring like an open heart and some clarification on certain personality traits that I have. I know that your sun and moon signs are different. Your rising signs can be different, and I know that gives a lot of insight to a lot of people. So I want to incorporate that into my life a little more often. Next, we go on the how do I want to feel when I grow in this field. I wrote down that I want to be confident and I want to unlock new knowledge about myself. I want to be proud and aware of my astrological sign and use it as an aid in my relationships. This is a really good one because I know that a lot of people talk about compatibility with certain signs, and I feel like once I master that knowledge at the top of my head, I'll be able to analyze my relationships. And also, if I do ever figure out if a person is a Cancer or a Taurus, I want to see if my sign is compatible with them. And maybe I will see the patterns over my lifetime. So that's just the way I see it and how I use that perspective to help cultivate this motivation of learning about astrology. The astrology stuff isn't something I'm going to be super strict on. It's just like a small intention I want to put in every day, just a little bit over time. So yeah, the next niche of spirituality I want to go into is my femininity. Now this is going to go into so many other areas of my life, so this is going to be a handful, so I hope you guys can follow me along with this. I might be all over the place, so I apologize. So I wrote down, why do I want to focus in this area? And I put an arrow down and I put, I want to be her. A lot of people nowadays are creating this type of trend and realization of becoming her. I feel like it's a very, very beautiful trend because a lot of people are growing into themselves. A lot of women who are growing into themselves and using that as an aid to just be more confident, to be more unapologetic, I think is so beautiful. So that is something I want to focus on. I feel like I am already her, but I think it's a little good mantra or a little thing to remember if I ever feel down or if I'm kind of lacking in my habits. Another thing I wrote down is that I want to tap into that divine feminine power and energy. I want to cultivate a better and much more confident side to my femininity, and ultimately create a balance between the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. I think the topic of the masculine and the feminine is something that I am most gravitated towards, just because I grew up on the more masculine side. I just kind of worked to become a type of girl who just wanted to become more masculine, and I thought attracting men meant becoming more masculine, so you could be a part of their group, you could be a part of their culture, I suppose. But after I got with my current boyfriend, I stepped into my femininity, because I felt like having a man with me kind of took over the masculine work I had put into myself over time. And now that I'm with someone who loves me so much and treats me with all the respect in the world, I feel like my feminine side has really came out and it has blossomed, because I have learned the power of receiving, I have learned the power of resting and really being one with myself. My practices in cultivating my femininity is going to be different every day. So I got this journal. It says the Poppin' Adventures of, and my name's supposed to be here. I basically have Polaroid pictures. I have intentions, I have fantasies, I have goals, messages, and a lot of just like people I look up to in terms of stepping into my femininity. And I feel like this is a part of myself that I'm so excited to go through, because the journey of becoming more woman-like has shown its benefits and its power and its beauty. So I usually use this to put my intentions, whether it's in my relationship, whether it's within myself and how I want to dress up or how I want to come off. I definitely want to be in a good balance where I'm like, yeah, that girl's a homegirl, but also like, ooh, she a sexy homegirl. Like I'm just trying to be like that, you know? So I write most of that stuff there. If you guys want me to talk about how I go about my feminine journaling routine, I would love to do that. Let me know. Continuing on, I wrote down, how am I gonna nurture this into my spiritual practices? I put, add love and intention into my makeup and skincare routine. Invest in experiences, people, food, and items that is worthy to oneself. Another thing I wrote down is to make food for myself and to take the time and intention to invest into this process of making food or coffee or tea for myself, because in correlation to that, I am helping myself become a healthier version of me. I will also be able to stack this goal into my financial goal, because I'm trying not to spend a lot of money on coffee and boba. I just need to cut back on that, and I just don't like how much sugar I consumed last year. So this year everything needs to come from home, okay? And the last question I asked is, how do I want to feel? I wrote down sexy, receiving, elegant, protected, loving, light, and wise. And I also put that she has something, which is kind of like the idea that if you see a girl, she has something that no one knows that she has. She just has this aura to herself, or a type of vibe where she carries herself so confidently and so genuinely. So that's how I want to feel. So here I have my last page. I kind of picked out two more niches in the spirituality umbrella, and the first one is the lunar cycle and the second one is tarot. I'm gonna briefly go over them. And to start off, for tarot, I just want to get familiar with my deck and to create a good relationship with it. I want to be able to touch my tarot deck maybe at least once a day, if not once every other day, and just to have it help strengthen my intuition. And if I ever need a message from my spirit guide or from my higher self or whatever beautiful force that is out there, I want it to be a channel to help me get that message, you know what I'm saying? I got the Harmony Tarot by Harmony Nice. This tarot deck is beautiful. I love it. It has so many cute and simple graphics, and I felt like this was perfect for me because I'm a little newbie to it. And I also love the guidebook. The guidebook is super handy. This tarot deck was only around $20. I will link down the Etsy shop that I bought this from. Definitely support them. So this is my tarot card deck, and the last thing I really want to work on this year is keeping track of the lunar cycle, meaning the full moons and the new moons and everything else about it. I feel like I definitely have had a fascination for the moon, and last year I actually kept track of my period and I observed my emotions during certain stages of my period, and you know, just the whole concept of how women align with the moon and its cycles. I really want to understand my body and how it just relates to the beautiful sunlight that comes through the night. So in my meditation drawer, I made like a little makeshift lunar calendar. So I have a little key here, and then as you can see, depending on the picture, you can like refer back to this, and then I wrote down the dates. I kind of messed up here, but overall that's what it looks like, and this is the back. So if I'm ever meditating and I am feeling a type of way, or if something is kind of like brewing or stirring inside of me, I can refer to this, and then hopefully it will give me some insights about myself and how the moon may be affecting me. So yeah, that is basically it for my spiritual goals for 2022. I know that I don't really have a step-by-step plan of things, but I think that me focusing on the different niches and just putting in the intention of what I want to go through the year can just help me set up a good foundation. If I really want to achieve like a certain level or a certain quota, I will work on that, but right now I feel like putting everything down and seeing it and hopefully referring back to it at the end of the year / middle of the year will help me get some more insight with where I'm at and what I probably need to change or do. So I'm just going to continue what I have been doing up to this point, but I would love to just like share my progress and my journey, and you know, just share some tips and advice or some insights along my time doing this. But overall, I hope this video gives you guys some creativity and insight and inspiration. Keep working on yourself, put the intention of self-growth, and you are on the right track. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!